Probably we can start Nadishani now.
Okay, madam. Shall I start, Dr. Rose?
Yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. So welcome to the online webinar hosted by the University of Arkansas in collaboration with the University of Colombo on the Cell and Molecular Biology program at the University of Arkansas. First, I'd like to invite Professor Devaka Veerakon from the Department of Zoology and Environment Sciences to give the welcome address.
Thank you, Nadishani. I hope you can hear me. Good afternoon and good morning to colleagues who are joining from Arkansas. I think it's early morning for you. I would like to warmly welcome Dr. Douglas Rhodes, the Director CEMB, and Dr. Adnan Al-Rubai, the Associate Director CEMB, as well as all those who are joining us from Arkansas, as well as all those who are joining us from Sri Lanka. It is a wonderful opportunity. I would like to thank Nadishani for initiating this because she herself is an alumna of University of Colombo, and she is one of the best students we have developed here. And now she's reaching out back to the university and trying to see whether she can help out her fellow students in the University of Colombo. The Department of Zoology and Environment Sciences basically have 4 honors programs. We have about 50 students in the 3rd year and 50 students in the 4th year who are following the honors program, where they have to declare their honors affiliation at the end of the 2nd year. So we have 3 honors programs which are research based, which is zoology, environment sciences, and molecular biology and integrative immunology and integrative molecular biology. And we also have another honors stream that is focused on the industry, which is called business and environment. And all the students who are graduating from these programs are very high performers, and most of them would like to pursue postgraduate studies out there. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for our students to connect with programs abroad. Especially, I think Arkansas has an excellent program, which is somewhat very similar to the program that we are having. So I think these are the few opening remarks I would like to make. I would like to thank Dr. Douglas Rhodes and his team for giving us this opportunity. And once again, thank you, Nadishani, for initiating this.
Thank you, Devaka sir. So now to start, first Dr. Rhodes and Dr. Al-Rubai will be giving an introduction to the Cell and Molecular Biology program and the application process. So now I invite Dr. Rhodes to...
Now you should see our PowerPoint presentation. So welcome everyone. It's great to have another meeting with so many important people and potential applicants from Sri Lanka and hopefully from areas around there. My name is Dr. Douglas Rhodes. I'm a professor of biological sciences at the University of Arkansas, and I have been the director of the Cell and Molecular Biology program since 2006. And then I'll hand it off to Dr. Al-Rubai to introduce himself.
Morning. Good evening, everyone. Good morning for us here. This is Adnan Al-Rubai. I'm professor of poultry science and associate director of Cell and Molecular Biology program here at the University of Arkansas.
And a graduate of the program. So, got about 24 slides that we want to go through. First, introducing the Cell and Molecular Biology program, and certainly Dr. Al-Rubai, whenever you want to jump in and help with this discussion, just jump in, interrupt. You know how we handle this. We tag team on everything.
Certainly.
So we're going to talk about the Cell and Molecular Biology program. and then a little bit more for those of you that were here in the meeting last Wednesday. We're going to give a little bit more about the university and the location of the university in the city of Fayetteville, because they're one of our key recruiting points. So with that, let's get going. And I need to change my pointer. So, unlike many traditional programs, the Cell and Molecular Biology program is not a department. It doesn't belong to any department. It is a cross-college, interdepartmental graduate degree program, and we have both Master of Science degrees and Doctor of Philosophy degrees. The program was created in just the year 2000 by the actions of a group of faculty that felt a need to have a shared interdepartmental cross-college degree program, because so many faculty were using cell biology and molecular biology in their research and wanted to unite together to make a stronger ties between those faculty and their research programs. Currently, we have over 120 faculty that are members of the program in 19 different departments in 4 colleges. And most of those departments are listed here, but you can see it ranges from things like biomedical engineering to physics to food science, poultry science, psychological sciences. So we have a wide variety of opportunities to work with faculty working on everything from bacteria to plants to nanomaterials. So lots of different opportunities to get a degree and to learn special techniques and special research problems. As I said, the program was established in 2000, and this is a graph of the graduations or the enrollment in the program by year for master's and PhD. And I want to highlight here that you see that the most of the enrollment is in PhD programs, and I'll amplify on that in a little bit. Even as early as 2008, the program was ranked in the top 100 cell and molecular biology programs in the United States. We have not been rated since. I know U.S. News and World Report just came out with a new ranking for a lot of universities, and that came out yesterday. So we will be checking to see where we stand now. But with the teamwork between myself and Dr. Al-Rubaye, since 2013, we have doubled the size of the program. And what we're most proud of is that it's a highly diverse program, with our students coming from 25 different countries, and 70% of the students are international students. We have the second largest enrollment of international students, but we are the most internationally diverse. This just shows the degrees graduated by year, starting from the start of the 2001, the second year of the program, to the present. So you can see that the trends are going up. We have master's degrees and PhDs that are all finishing. The cell and molecular biology program has really taken off in the last decade, and this is shown by the grant funding in dollars. The gray on the left graph here, the gray is the new funding in thousands of dollars, and the yellow is the continuing grant. So we have a lot of money coming in through this program to fund research and assistantships. And this just shows the peer-reviewed publications coming out of the program by year, and you can see that clearly has a linear trajectory going up with 50 publications in 2023 coming out of the program. So the most significant changes are we doubled the size of the program. We now regularly have about 100 students in the program, and we are it says now one of the, but we are the largest PhD program on campus. So what if you want to join this program? What's the application process look like? And what about assistantships and tuition? I know Andrew Van Loo covered some of this last time, but I'm going to go into the specifics for cell and molecular biology this afternoon, evening, morning, whichever part of the world you're in. The most critical requirement for being considered for admission to this program is that the applicant has a faculty sponsor. That faculty sponsor is going to be responsible for accepting the student into the program, funding the student both assistantship, tuition, and research. To do this, we have applicants fill out an applicant profile. And that applicant profile talks about what your research interests are, what your research experiences are, and most importantly, lists the faculty that you are most interested in working with. In other words, joining their research program. We require that the applicants email faculty to find a sponsor because you can't just send in an application and hope to get picked out of the pile. We get hundreds of applications per year, and the faculty don't usually look at just all the applications that are sent in. They wait for applicants to contact them about their interests in the research program the faculty member is doing. Primarily, the initial contacts are by emails, but when you send an email, it's not about you, it's about how your goals and aspirations and your desire to learn fit into the research program that faculty member is conducting. If you just send an email, are you accepting students? You probably won't get an answer. If you send an email that says, I know you're working on bacterial causes of lameness in poultry. I have some experience. I eat a lot of chicken, and therefore I'd like to learn more about that, and I'm very interested in joining your program. Does that make sense to everybody? So, and certainly we'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So,
Dr. Rhodes, I dropped the information for applicants and also the example email in the chat.
okay, great. So, most students are admitted for fall intake, and if you want to be admitted in the fall, and that's the reason we're having these meetings right now, is you need to be finding a faculty sponsor this fall for admission to the following fall. So if you're interested in getting into this program for fall 2025, then you need to be talking to faculty right now to find potential faculty sponsors. You don't have to apply to the program to secure the commitment of a faculty sponsor. You can actually find a faculty sponsor before you apply, because in order to apply, you have to pay the $75 application fee. Typically, you send an email or two to the faculty member. You may have to be persistent because faculty get a lot of inquiries. And so you may need to follow up after a week and say, I sent you an email on this date asking about your research program in this, and I was hoping you could answer my questions. If the faculty member is interested, then you'll probably do a video interview. And then most importantly, the majority of our admissions are for PhD, 80%, and I'll talk about that just a little bit more in a few minutes. The reason you have to have a faculty sponsor is the faculty sponsor will arrange for the assistantship, and I'll talk about the kinds of assistantships in a minute. And because they're paying your assistantship, they're going to pay your tuition. The only thing our graduate students pay are the student fees, which amount to about $500 a semester. Tuition is much more than that. The faculty member will direct your research program. You will join some research investigation that that faculty member is engaged in and will pay for that research project, which will amount to $5,000 to $10,000 per year. They also chair your advisory committee and your examination committee, which are the two committees that will, as they say, advise you on what courses we'll take, conduct any candidacy exams, and then the examination committee will review your thesis or dissertation and examine you over that. So when it comes to finding a sponsor, it's very important that you focus on learning techniques and research processes, not on exactly what they're doing, because we get a lot of applicants say, I want to work on human cancer. Well, we don't have a lot of faculty that work on human cancer, and those that do get a lot of applicants. So it's very competitive to get into their lab. You're better off if what you do is you focus on finding a lab where you can learn an area of molecular or cellular biology that you can apply to any other organisms. So we had a question last time from one of the participants last Wednesday about they wanted to work on genetics and genomics of flying squirrels. Well, we don't have anybody that works on flying squirrels, but we do have a lot of people that work on genetics and genomics of eukaryotes. So you can learn how to get DNA out of plants and animals, and then to do the genetics and genomics. And then after you're done, you can work on flying squirrels, just like I learned how to work with DNA primarily in hamster and human cells. And now I work on bacteria that infect chickens and on chickens, but it's all focused on genetics and genomics. So among the areas that you can be interested in is becoming very good in molecules, microscopes, or machines. And by machines, I mean things like mass spectrometry. You can get experience in doing high-level genetics, genomics, bioinformatics, proteomics, statistics, the list goes on and on. But if you learn how to do bioinformatics, even if it's in plant cells, you can then do bioinformatics in humans or guinea pigs. So focus less on the actual research project, focus more on what types of techniques and experiences you're going to get, because your PhD is only a training operation. It is not what you're going to do for the rest of your life. If it was, I'd still be working on Chinese hamster cells. Dr. Al-Rubai, anything you want to add?
So far, so good.
So, what are the sources of assistantships? The University of Arkansas has 33,000 students, and a lot of them are taking STEM classes, science, technology, education, and math. And those courses require laboratories, and those are handled by graduate students as teaching assistantships. So, for example, the Department of Biological Sciences normally employs about 85 to 90 graduate students as teaching assistants. So same for chemistry. Then there are also teaching assistantships in physics. So these are available to not only the students working with biological science faculty, but also the cell and molecular biology students can compete for teaching assistantships, even if they're working with a faculty member not in their home department. Some departments have state-funded research assistantships where the department head or the department chair will award those to a faculty member so that they can recruit a graduate student. Many of our CEMB students are funded by grant-funded research assistantships, where we have about $45 million in current funding, and the faculty member then, if they have a grant, will fund a research assistantship. And then the Cell and Molecular Biology does award about 12 research assistantships per year. Those are given to faculty to support a new or existing graduate student. So 4 different ways that the faculty member can fund bringing in a new student. Then we have, as Andrew Van Loo mentioned last time, supplemental fellowships, which are awarded by the graduate student. Those are there to help us recruit high quality students, and there are of 2 types: a doctoral academy fellow and a doctoral or distinguished doctoral fellowship. Both of these require an undergraduate or master's degree with a GPA greater than 3.5, and the students must present GRE scores that are above the 50th percentile for both the reasoning, verbal, and writing. And if you have this sort of credentials, then you need to talk to me as you talk to the faculty about getting sponsorship, because the nomination comes from me to the graduate school. And the way these work is the faculty member is going to fund you through one of these 4 methods for the assistantship. Then we nominate you for a DAF or a DDF. The DAF will add $12,000 per year to whatever your base assistantship is up at the top. The DDF will add $22,000 per year. So we do have graduate students that are making $40,000 a year, US dollars. So that's the basics for the cell and molecular biology, but let's talk about where is Arkansas, because Andrew didn't cover this and not a lot of people know where Arkansas is and why Fayetteville is such a great place to study and live. Arkansas is a fairly small state. We have a population of about 3.2 million people. We're located in the southeast of the United States. The Gulf of Mexico is down here, and Texas is our next door neighbor. It's a small state, as I mentioned, low population, a lot of agriculture, a lot of forest, and 2 population centers. One in the center of the state, which is the capital of Arkansas, and the most rapidly growing part of the state is northwest Arkansas, where we are located. Fayetteville, the current population is estimated at just under 100,000 people. It's a rapidly growing city. We have a lot of suburbs of the city, where small bedroom communities where people live and commute into town. We're located in Washington County, which is 250,000 people. And if you combine Washington County and Benton County, which is just to our north, that's northwest Arkansas, and we have over 500,000 people. And we are expected to double that in the next decade to be over 1 million people. And as I said, Arkansas, about 3 million people. So you can see 2 counties are likely to account for 1/3 of the population. The reason we are growing so fast is because it is an economically vibrant community. We have 4 companies that reside in Northwest Arkansas that are the leaders in their field worldwide. One of them being, and probably the most powerful, is Walmart. We have the home of Walmart, where Walmart started, located in Benton County. But we also have a company called Tyson Foods, which is the largest producer of meat for human consumption worldwide. The state was founded in 1829. The Northwest Arkansas is within what are called the Ozark Mountains. They aren't tall mountains, but they are very steep with lots of oak trees and hardwoods. We're 30 miles from Missouri to our north, 26 miles from Oklahoma to our west. We average 218 days of sunshine per year. It is a humid subtropical climate. The Gulf of Mexico moderates our temperatures. We get humidity that flows up from the Gulf, but we're far enough inland that the hurricanes don't get to us, but they've weakened by the time we get any, and we just get rain. On the cost of living, we are a 90, where the national average is 100, so it's less expensive to live here than it is for the national average. Fayetteville is among the 100 best places to live as determined by CNN and Money.com and Money Magazine. It's one of America's most livable cities, one of the 10 low-cost locales with plentiful jobs. We have always had high or very low unemployment, and it's number 4 among the country's best places for business and career. So a lot of people come here for an education, and then they stay here for the rest of their lives. Fayetteville is a picturesque campus. It's in northwest Arkansas. Our university is located on a hill. It includes 2 arboreta, which would be, if you aren't familiar with that term, that means forested areas overlooking the Ozark Mountains. We have some of the best outdoor amenities. We have spectacular hiking trails. We have biking trails that come from all over town to the campus, so you can get on the Razorback Greenway, and we have the Mount Kessler mountain bike course, and we are building a new art district called the Ramble, which is located about 2 blocks from the University of Arkansas campus. We're routinely considered one of the finest college towns, and we're ranked one of the best places to live in the U.S. The university currently has 33,000 students. It's doubled in size in about the last 15 years. We recruit students from all over the United States, and we have, of those 33,000, 1,512 are international students from 120 different countries. We have 10 colleges. They're located on 4 different campuses in the city, and we have schools offering more than 210 academic programs. So if you're in this and cell and molecular biology isn't necessarily your cup of tea, then we have plenty of opportunities for other graduate programs depending on your interests. The university has consistently been ranked, used to say top 100, but the new U.S. News and World Report, we've dropped slightly to tie for 103 public research universities in the United States. So that puts us in the top 2%, and we are rated as highest research rating. You can't be higher in the Carnegie Foundation. Ranked 5th in best value colleges by Kiplinger, and U.S. News and World Report ranked Fayetteville the 5th best town to live in for 2017. The university has an endowment of over $1 billion, and of that $1 billion, over $100 million belongs in the graduate school, and that helps fund some graduate stipends, those DAFs and DDFs that I talked about. Those are funded by that $100 million. And we're very proud to say that that $100 million also funds graduate travel to meetings in the amount of $720 up to $1,200 per student per year. So if you're in any graduate program at this university, you can apply for money to go to a national meeting every year that you're in the program. We have affordable off-campus apartments. We have a lot of apartments that are available for graduate students, and we have a free Razorback Transit bus system that traverses throughout the city. It goes all the way up to the mall and all the way down to our South Campus. It frequents all of the major apartment complexes, and it's free, so you never have to drive to campus. You can get on a bus and ride to campus. We have more than 40 kilometers of hiking and biking trails, and they are all connected to campus. So lots of different ways to get to campus and to enjoy the environment and the great weather we have. We are one of the most connected small towns in America. We have Northwest Arkansas National Airport that opened in the 2000s. It has 6 different airlines that service it, and we have direct flights to all the major cities such as Atlanta, Philadelphia, New York, Minneapolis, Cincinnati, Charlotte, Houston. So you can fly anywhere you need to go, and we have great connectivity to our national airport. You can also drive here. When I moved to Fayetteville, we didn't have any 4-lane highways connecting Fayetteville to anything. Now we have 4-lane highways going north, south, west, and east, connecting to all the major cities in the area. So, and this is one of the new highways going over a gorge south of Fayetteville. So very pretty scenery on both sides of the mountain or of the highway. So, University of Arkansas, it's a great place to study, but it's also a great place to call home. If you want to know more about the Cell and Molecular Biology program, send us an email. This is a email account that both Dr. Al-Rubaye and I share. So anything that goes to that address, we both see. That's if you have questions about cell and molecular biology. If you have questions about other programs, you can send those to gradinfo@uark.edu. You can also use this QR code, and we're going to leave this up on the screen. But if you scan that QR code, it will take you to a Google form that Dr. Al-Rubaye and I use. Then you enter your information, and you can choose among degree programs that you need more information, and we will pass that on to the graduate school so that you will get contacted by them. So, are there any particular questions? I haven't been looking. Is there anything in chat?
Down in the chat.
Well, Indra Chapa, do you want to go on with our student testimonials?
Yes, Dr. Rhodes. Is it okay to share the screen? Oh,
It is now.
okay. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rhodes. I would like to start off with a big thank you to Dr. Rhodes for being there for all of us in the Cell and Molecular Biology program, but also for initiating this to reach out to more Sri Lankan students, and also Dr. Al-Rubai for joining in. And on the other side, thank you to Devakasa and Gainimat agreeing to have this session for our students and sharing it with other departments and universities as well. I really appreciate the support even back then and also now. So to start off, first I thought of briefly giving an overview about the Sri Lankan graduate students here. So right now we have a small number of 15 students, and 7 of them are dispersed across other PhD programs, which you can see over here. So some are in engineering programs, and then geoscience, chemistry, food science, electrical engineering, physics, and astrophysics. And as you can see, we come from different universities, the University of Peradeniya, University of Moratuwa, University of Ruhuna, and also the KDU and University of Kelaniya. The rest of us are in cell and molecular biology, so there are 8 of us. and starting with Sonali, who first arrived here as a Fulbright scholar, and you'll hear from her in a bit, so I won't go into details. And then we have Oshadi, who is my senior from the University of Colombo, and we did the same bachelor's degree program. And then we have Ruvindu, Isini, Prabha, Mavini, and Asinsa, all from the University of Ruhuna, but from different departments. And here, all of us are together in the cell and molecular biology program, but we belong to different departments when it comes to our home department because our advisors belong to those departments. And then I thought I'll share the timeline of how I got here. So just to give you a glimpse of what the process looked like for me, but of course this won't be the same for everybody. But so back in July 2022, we got to know our final results, basically what GPA I have and which class of honors. So everything was sort of finalized. And in the same month, I took the IELTS because it's necessary to do a standardized English test. And then in August, I got to meet Dr. Kannan, who is not here today, but I have to mention him. He was a Fulbright scholar in Sri Lanka during the pandemic years. And I got to meet him, and he had an interview with me, and he told me about the cell and molecular biology program and also the fellowship opportunities. So in September, with that information, I just made a list of about 10 universities and began the process of going into the websites and searching about the universities. And then in October, I decided to take the GRE exam just because I felt like it would broaden my potential program requirements. So I started preparing for that. And at the same time, based on my undergraduate dissertation, I was able to submit 2 abstracts for 2 different conferences. So I was working on everything at the same time. And also I was working as a demand at the University of Colombo or a teaching assistant. And then in December, I took the GRE and also the TOEFL, not because it's required to do 2 English standardized tests, but one of the universities that I was looking at specifically requested for TOEFL scores. So I just did that also. And then I completed my UARC application within the first week of December. And I wrote to faculty. I had 2 online interviews. And in total, I was able to submit applications for 4 universities, including University of Arkansas. And then in January, I got my first rejection letter, and soon 2 others followed. But in the first week of February, that's when I got my offer letter to the University of Arkansas. And that's like the highlight of my journey application process. And then in March, I got to know that I'm a recipient of the prestigious Doctoral Academy Fellowship. And briefly after that, I received my I-20, which we need to apply for visa. So I started my visa application and scheduled a date for my interview, which was in April, I think around 18th of April. And then we get to know the results immediately after. So I knew like I am going to be moving to USA by the end of April. And in August, I came here and I came to work in a research lab which is focused on mitochondrial diseases, which is heavily based on cell culture work. So I had no exposure to cell culturing. And so I started my training, and currently I'm a 3rd-year PhD student. I'm preparing for my candidacy exam and working as a teaching assistant for the cell biology laboratory, where we teach undergraduate students. So I'll wrap up with a few pictures to show what my life has been in the University of Arkansas. So this first picture on the top left is a picture from my lab. So Dr. Shilpaya, who is my mentor, we work on rare mitochondrial diseases, and basically it has no drugs or no therapy that has been approved right now. So we are trying to develop models, cell models, which we can test different drugs on. And the picture below that is from my first travel opportunity outside campus to North Carolina, where I got the chance to present my research work. And then next to that, I was able to win a $250 scholarship with the international culture team. So that was a nice highlight during last year. And below that is an opportunity that I got through the international culture team, which is something extracurricular that I do here. and I get to present about my country. And this was in an elementary school. And I got several opportunities to dance and sing in front of the vast community that we get to celebrate our New Year's and other festivals with the fellow Sri Lankans. There is a somewhat big, not very big, but a considerable Sri Lankan community up in Bentonville, which is a city close to us. And I have also volunteered as a cross-cultural mentor where we help with the incoming graduate students and undergraduate students to settle in, and basically we just be peer mentors to them as they come and settle. And with that, I'd like to pass this on to Isini to share her cell and molecular biology experience as an international student here. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadishani. Okay. Good evening, everybody in Sri Lanka, and good morning, everyone who's joining from Arkansas. So, Nadishani, can I share?
Dr. Rosie, will it be possible for her to share the screen?
Isini made you a co-host, so that's
Got it.
Thank you, Dr. Rose. Okay, I'll share it in a minute. So I'll talk about my experience a little bit. So I was a zoology special student back in University of Ruhuna. And then we had this Professor Dr. Kannan, a Fulbright exchange professor from University of Arkansas, and he came to our university. So that's how I got to know the University of Arkansas and about this program. So first, he was the one who suggested that I should apply for this program, but initially I did not go with that. And I was waiting. And then I decided, yeah, let's apply for this program and the university, because at that time I didn't know about this university. Then eventually I got to know a lot about this university because of him. So finally I decided I will apply for this university. And like Nadishani said, it's pretty much like her timeline. So I got to know this university. Then I wrote for like 30, maybe 40 professors here privately reaching out. And I got back some responses. And then I went through an interview with one professor that I liked the most. So I got through his interview, then I came to here. So my background is, you guys know that like zoology, we work with specimens and animals, but here I'm working in the mass spectrometry lab in the chemistry department. So it's basically pure analytical chemistry I'm doing here, and working with proteomics and metabolomes at the same time. So it's really different, like the experience what I had back home. And now I'm currently working with big machines and troubleshooting pumps. And right now we are automating a standard protocol we have in the lab. So basically I'm working with machines right now. So it's, you can change your field after your undergrads if you like it. So my connection was to the molecular biology from zoology was, in my undergrads, I worked in a volunteer research group. And we worked on biomarkers on chronic kidney disease unknown etiology, you know that. And so that was the point, the connection from zoology to molecular biology straightly. So that's why, so right now also I'm sort of working metabolomes related to biomarkers. And yeah, so the approach is different. The things I'm doing here is really different, but it's pretty much the same. Yeah, but again different. So I'll share some of how the life here right now. So I'll share some of my private pictures. This is a basketball game we went last year, and this is me working in the lab. And I had a chance to present this year a national conference in mass spectrometry, and also I worked as a research assistant for 2 years. So it helps first 2 years. This is my third year. And for the first 2 years, it was really helpful to be a research assistant. So you don't need to teach, and you can focus more on your research work, and you can get to know about the campus and the community at the same time. It's less pressure if you have a research assistantship at the beginning. But right now I'm enjoying teaching, so I can contact with local students and get to know about them, how their culture is. And yeah, so right now I really like teaching as well. And as Nadi mentioned, we volunteer here in International Student Office. So we help other international students when they got recruited. We try to be friends with them and help with their problems, because we also went through the same problems first we came here. So we kind of know what the problems are. So we also know what the solutions are most of the time. So in our perspective, we can help them. So we try our best to help other international students here. And also we have a big South Asian community here. This is our South Asian Student Association. These are some pictures from the last year. We represent our country, and yeah. And these are some pictures of our football games. We have a lot of a lot of games here, like football, basketball, gymnastics, and so on. So you can enjoy some games, and it's really fun. And also, since Arkansas is a natural state, university organize some camping trips, hiking, biking, canoeing, and also Zumba classes, dancing, yoga. There are a lot of things once you come here you can engage with, and you can enjoy, and you can have a balanced life, because you will have a busy life as a graduate student. So I think Arkansas is a really good place to start with. So I'll pass the mic to the next person. Thank you.
Sonali.
Yeah. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Hi, so my name is Sonali, and I'm currently in the 4th year of my PhD program in cell and molecular biology. I am originally a graduate from Kota Davalar Defense University, and I was one of the in the first batch of allied health science students from that university. So my journey here at the University of Arkansas began in 2019 when I came here for my master's program through the Fulbright program. So Dr. Rhodes here was my first advisor and mentor. So shout out to Dr. Rhodes. And I'll be talking a little bit about how the Fulbright program helped kickstart my grad school experience, and also a little bit on the pros and cons of that, and some general information about the cell and molecular biology program here. So a perk of being a Fulbright scholar is your finances are pretty much taken care of. So all expenses from your GRE TOEFL, your flight tickets to your graduate school stipend is covered by the Fulbright program. So like early on, Dr. Rhodes mentioned a list of ways in which you can fund your PhD program here. I fall into a different category there because I was paid for by a different institute. But that's just another way that you can fund yourself. So another plus is getting to go to conferences that are organized by the Fulbright program. So they pay you to go outside of state and kind of get to know other Fulbrighters from around the world and network. So that's another advantage of like the Fulbright program, in addition to like, this is just another way that you can fund your graduate school, start your graduate school here. So with all the pluses, there are a couple of flip sides. Is the main thing being that it's pretty competitive. So it's basically a lot of luck and hard work that would give you that opportunity. And also another one that I think I should kind of emphasize is that the Sri Lankan Fulbright program does not offer scholarships for PhD programs. So there's an advantage that University of Arkansas does not require you to have a master's to start a PhD program. So you can't really make use of that opportunity because I came here for a master's and I completed my master's in 2021 before I applied for my PhD program here at the University of Arkansas. So that's and I can touch a little bit on how I did that. So when you come through a Fulbright program, they do set you, like they give you kind of a list of universities you can apply to, so you're kind of confined there. But University of Arkansas was one of the universities that was provided to me, and I'm lucky to be here and given that opportunity. So once you feel like you it was great for me, especially because I kind of got an idea of like how grad school was, and then I felt like I knew what I wanted to do further, so I applied for a PhD program. And my background is in medical laboratory sciences, but like Dr. Rhodes said here, when you apply for grad school, you don't have to apply on like your project specifically. You can apply to any sort of laboratory that you think would help sharpen your skills and get things in your toolkit for future work. For example, my master's was in chicken macrophage cell lines, and now I'm currently working in yeast and stress responses in, so a lot of genetics involved in brewer's yeast. So there's a lot of flexibility, and I feel like adapting to them is a good thing and kind of increasing your experiences. So I would like to, I could share my information if anyone is interested in applying for the Fulbright scholarship. I'm more than happy to share my experiences and advice. But regardless of how you get here, the CEMB program does not discriminate based on like how you get here. It's an interdisciplinary program, like Dr. Rhodes mentioned, and this is great because you have a wide range of coursework available for you, and also a range of mentors to write to and choose which kind of research that you want to do. So those are kind of like the positives of being in an interdisciplinary program. Yeah, and with that, I'd like to add this last thing, that grad school can definitely be challenging, and especially when you're far from home. But in the end, it's what you make of it, and your experiences will depend on the effort and mindset that you have and how you choose to navigate. But there are a lot of resources here at the University of Arkansas that will help you navigate these difficulties. And in addition, there's a good group of individuals, and you can surround yourself with all good people to help you through. Yeah, so with that, I will hand over the to the next person. I think it's Ruvindu.
Thanks a lot, Sonali. Good evening to you all joining from Sri Lanka. Good evening, good morning to all the participants from Arkansas here. I hope you all can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thanks, Nandishani. So I'm originally from Gompaha, Sri Lanka. And speaking about my background, I finished my GCE advanced levels in 2015. I was admitted to the University of Ruhuna in 2017. And I was in the immediate junior batch of Isinyaka, who just spoke to you all. And I also specialized there in zoology. So for the next part, I'm going to share my screen. Let me see. Can you all see the presentation?
Yeah. Yes.
Let me get rid of my floating controls. Okay, there we go. So right now I'm a PhD candidate of the cell and molecular biology program here in the University of Arkansas, and my research is based on the Department of Earth Science. So like I mentioned earlier, oops. Okay. So I started here in the spring semester of 2022, and I actually started my application process from early 2021 as well. And I should mention Professor Raghunathan, who came to my university as Fulbright scholar. Through him only, I got to know the name at first, and he helped me a lot with the application process. And later on down the road, Dr. Adnan, my advisor here who's joining right now, and also Dr. Chesudasan helped me a lot, along with Dr. Potts, for me to secure the doctoral academic fellowship as well. And last April, I qualified as a candidate as well. So speaking about my research here in very short, Dr. Adnan's lab focuses on controlling or preventing BCO, which is a major cause of lameness in chicken. So as you can see in the image, it's detrimental to the health of the chicken. The meat quality goes bad, and the industry is affected highly. It causes billions of dollars lost in revenue, and also this issue is driven by bacteria. So if consumers consume this type of meat, they can be affected as well. So in very short, like right now for this issue, there's no commercialized means of total prevention, and there's no vaccine development. So what I'm trying to do is develop a vaccine. We have recognized the bacteria which is causative for BCO. I use electron beam to attenuate them and use them as in our vaccinations. So aside from my research, Nadishani really wanted me to stress more about this fact. One of the most important reasons I'm really grateful to the cell and molecular biology program here is that it gave me numerous opportunities to attend different conferences and trainings, and also present nationally over the United States in different conferences. So here, like most of them are conferences, but this is a training program, and you can see me standing next to a high energy electron beam generator. Here I got some training at the Texas A&M University on how electron beam is used for different purposes. And I also like to mention that University of Arkansas would be one of the most supportive places for you to engage in activities like this, because the easiest method for you would be secure funding if your advisor has a personal grant. But apart from that, like Dr. Rhodes also mentioned earlier, you can apply to travel grants from the Graduate School of International Education. And apart from that, the Cell and Molecular Biology program, the department, they're willing to help you. And if that's not enough, there are other organizations like Graduate Professional Student Congress, which will help you greatly. So I would consider this as my latest achievement. I won the first place for a poster presentation in the annual meeting for the Arkansas Association for Food Protection last, like 2 weeks ago. So moving apart from academics here, I'm also a part of the international cultural team. I think Nadishani showed some pictures. And also this semester, we started the Sri Lankan Student Association here. And I'm really happy to be elected as the first ever vice president of this association. And moving towards the end of my presentation, I would also like to show some of the first time ever experiences I had here. I was able to do laser tag, go kayaking, rock climbing, and apart from that, I also did bowling, ice skating, and stuff like it for the first time. recently I tried surfing too, which did not go really well. So anyway, all I want to say is that USA is a land of opportunity, and what got me to it was the Cell and Molecular Biology program of the University of Arkansas, to which I'm immensely grateful. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. I express my sincere gratitude to you all for listening. If any of you want to contact me, my contact information is available here. And if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to take them during the Q&A session which follows. So thank you very much. All right.
Okay, so now I think we have a Q&A session, time allocated for questions and answers. I'm not seeing any yet in the chat box.
But if people want to look in the chat box, there are plenty of links that we have sent, depending on what your interests are. Oh, no, that's from Sonali. So Sonali has asked whether it would be a good idea to share her email address on the chat for anyone who has questions. And I'm going to leave that up to each of our graduate students as to whether they want to share their email address. But I would support, because it's very critical that our future Sri Lanka applicants have as much information as possible. And it's certainly the best advice they can get is from current students that are from Sri Lanka. So
Dr. Ruth says one question. Can you?
okay, so yes, this is a very important question. The GRE used to be a requirement for applications, but the Cell and Molecular Biology program fought for years to get rid of the GRE because it is not, it discriminates against women, minorities, and international students. That's known throughout the world. And it's expensive, especially if you have to travel to even find a place that offers the GRE. So we fought and were finally allowed to no longer require the GRE, because we think the letters of recommendation and the interview and the transcript cover the important aspects. But if you have a 3.5 GPA, you must submit the GRE scores for the graduate school to consider you for a DAF or DDF. So that's because the funding for those DAFs and DDFs, when that was negotiated, it required the GRE. So it's possible that some faculty, if you're applying to Cell and Molecular Biology and you get a hold of a faculty member and they say they might sponsor you, but they're going to want to see GRE scores, then that's the faculty member requiring GRE. But I can assure you that the Cell and Molecular Biology program does not use the GRE and does not require the GRE. An equivalent question would be about English language scores. There are a number of different tests that you can submit, from Duolingo to TOEFL, but the university is the one that requires the English scores, not the CEMB program. So I get a lot of emails from applicants saying, do I have to submit English language scores? And can you waive them for me? I cannot waive them. Just like I can't waive the application fee, because I don't control that. I don't require it. I don't collect it.
Dr. Rhodes, there's a follow-up question which came to me asking whether we can get fellowships if we do GRE after being selected. Is that possible?
The DDF or the DAF is awarded that for the fall semester, the first consideration is in February, and then if they're not all awarded, there is another competition in April. So if you have been offered admission, you can, but have not accepted it, then you can still be nominated for a DAF or a DDF. So you can be offered admission, but if you've started your program, once you're at the University of Arkansas, we can't nominate you because it's supposed to be for recruiting purposes, not to award existing students. Okay, we've got another one. I finished my master's in research degree and waiting for the defense. I'm interested in antibiotic resistance and molecular genetics. So is it okay if I apply now for the next intake? By the next intake, I would assume you mean fall of 2025 because the deadline for an international to be offered admission for spring 2025 was October 1st. So if you're interested in coming to the University of Arkansas, your best chances for admission would be fall of 2025. And for that, I think it's July 1st, you must have accepted an admission offer. So in January, we start awarding assistantships. Other departments, such as the departmental research assistantships and teaching assistantships, will start to be offered in February, March, and April for the coming fall. However, if a faculty sponsor is going to use their own grant, then the deadline for admission decision would be July 1st of 2025. I know that's a multi-part answer to what should be a simple question, but it really depends on where the funding is coming from as to the deadline. But if you're interested in this, then the big thing is that by the middle of December, you know you have a faculty sponsor. If you've secured a faculty sponsor, you're going to get an admission offer. Then you just have to complete the application because it will take more than a month for an application to be completed and then processed through the graduate school and released to the department, just so that we can approve. But if you have a faculty member who says they're sponsoring you and they have submitted the paperwork to CEMB, then you could complete the application and we would do the admissions approval in even June of 2025. Now, obviously, there's some other aspects to this that we have to consider. It's not simple paperwork for an international student to get a visa. Depending on the country you're coming from, it can take a year and a half. And certainly that could change in November when the US selects a new president. So the time to get a visa could become much longer. So but even if you have an admission offer and it takes a while to get your visa, the admission can be deferred. So that's another aspect. But certainly for some of the countries that the US is not getting along with right now, I'm not going to name names, but politically there are some countries where it's much harder to get a visa to come to the United States. But as far as I know, it's fairly routine for Sri Lanka students to get a student visa. Okay, if I got less marks only for the speaking section in TOEFL, will it be affected to my application, especially when applying for a TA position? And are there any options like taking an internal exam? Multi-part question. The CEMB program does not do the evaluation of the TOEFL. The levels are set by the graduate school. If it's close and we have a faculty sponsor, then we can petition the graduate school to relax on the TOEFL for an admission. On the other hand, for teaching, the qualifications for teaching are much higher than just for admission. So if you have sufficient TOEFL scores or Duolingo scores to be admitted, then once you're admitted, there is a course that you can take. As long as you take that course and get a B or better, then you're automatically qualified for teaching assistantships.
I can add also an example for the English courses. For the IELTS, you must score a minimum of 6.5 for admission. Or if you score 6 and you have a faculty sponsor, then we can help you with that one. There are, like Dr. Rhodes mentioned, courses that you can take for the speaking part. And those courses, if you have an assistantship, the assistantship will help you pay for those courses. So you don't need to pay extra money for the tuition of those courses.
Do we have other questions?
Yes, there is a student asking if there are these kinds of fellowships and teaching assistantships for other departments for a bachelor's, for somebody who graduated with a bachelor's in relation to environment sciences.
So the fellowships are only available to students for PhD. That's the first part of that. Okay, Dr. Al-Rubai is going to leave because he's got to go teach his class. So thanks.
Very nice meeting everyone. Thank you.
Dr. Al-Rubai.
So there are nuances to the question about who can and cannot qualify for teaching assistantships. And that's one of those political things about who the faculty sponsor is. So if you, let's say, went to work for a faculty member in food science, but you're a CEMB student, you can apply to be a teaching assistantship in chemistry, biochemistry, or biological sciences. But the teaching assistantships will first be awarded to graduate students working with a chemistry, biochemistry faculty member in the case of chemistry, or a biological sciences faculty. But that's the sort of thing where you can be in a pool where you're considered, and when they need additional students, they will recruit you. But that's not something that the graduate student needs to worry about. That's something that the faculty sponsor worries about. So the faculty member is the one that's responsible for coming up with your assistantship. You shouldn't have to worry about where it's coming from. But I know that a lot of students want to get some teaching experience. And so even if they're working with somebody in crop soil environmental science, they can put their name in the pool and get selected so they can get teaching experience to go on their resume. And I will point out, I only mentioned the dollar amounts for the DAF and DDF because the amount of an assistantship offered to an applicant is totally dependent on the source of the funding and the faculty member who's sponsoring. So we have some students that are on assistantships of $18,000 or $19,000 a year. Some of them are 9-month, some are 12-month. We have other students that are on training grants that are paying $30,000 a year. So that depends on who your faculty sponsor is. Other questions? Well, certainly, if you have questions, you've got cemb@uark.edu. You have gradinfo@uark.edu, and you have the links that we sent you. Any last words from our collaborating hosts?
Dr. Rhodes, if I may come in, I'm Devaka once again.
Yes.
I would like to thank you and Dr. Prasad Rubai for very patiently answering all the questions and giving us a wonderful overview about your program, and also all those graduate students who shared their experience. I think one of the key things, take-home messages, is all of them are coming from very different backgrounds. So they pointed out that it's not necessary for one to get locked into a silo and just try to continue to work on that in a world where a lot of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary work is going on. So I think there's a huge take-home message for our students, as well as a great deal of learning coming out of this. So I would like to thank all of you for taking time to help our graduate students, prospective graduate students. Thank you.
Well, thank you for partnering with us on this, and we hope to do it again next fall, preferably in September rather than October, because the earlier the better for the students to get started on getting their applications together.
Yes, and our students generally graduate around July, so September would be a very good time for us to have this meeting.
Excellent. I'm going to, when I stop the recording, I will see what I can do about sharing that with our university partners there in Sri Lanka. Indra Choppa, I'll probably be bugging you to help me with that. All right, everyone. You have a pleasant evening. We're looking forward to a pleasant day. It's going to be a nice 75 degrees Fahrenheit today in Fayetteville. We had a cool front come through, and it's very pleasant outside.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rhodes. And thank you, Devaka sir.
Thank you, Nadishani. Much appreciated.
All right, everyone.
Bye, everybody.